All right. So this is Jacob passing on the priesthood to Levi, and it's actually in the 7th month as they're about to celebrate Sukkot. So it's the Feast of Tabernacles. This is when he passes on the priesthood to Levi, his son, and then now Levi takes over. And then at the end of this, on the 8th day, they celebrate the Feast of Addition, which is important because it's not actually explained to you in Exodus through Deuteronomy. You're just told on the 8th day in Exodus 23 and Numbers 29, the different places to celebrate as a Sabbath, the 8th day after Sukkot, but it doesn't tell you what it is or why. And you actually have to do, the math doesn't add up. I mean, the math adds up, but it doesn't directly tell you. It says from the 15th to the 22nd to celebrate the Feast of Tabernacles, but then on the 8th day, it's another Sabbath. And you're like, well, where'd that come from? Well, Jubilees has told us this whole time. This is why the first century rabbis shouldn't have ignored this book. So it actually tells you here, Jubilees 32, 1-4, he abode that night at Bethel, and Levi dreamed that he had ordained and made him the priest of the Most High God, him and his sons forever. And he woke from his sleep and blessed the Lord. And Jacob rose early in the morning on the 14th of this month and gave a tithe of all that came with him, both of men and cattle, both of gold and of every vessel and garment. Yeah, he gave tithes of all. And in those days, Rachel became pregnant with her son Benjamin. Jacob counted his sons from him upwards, and Levi fell to the portion of the Lord. That means the priesthood. And his father clothed him in the garments of the priesthood and filled his hands. And on the 15th of this month, this is the 7th month, guys. This is when you begin Sukkot. That's when he brought to the altar 14 oxen, and he goes on to explain the sacrifice that he brings forward. In the same chapter, just further on down, Jacob is also going to have this amazing vision. As he's celebrating the feasts, he has an amazing vision, and he gets tablets from heaven explaining it. I'm going to read this as verse 21. It says, and Jacob saw in a vision of the night, and behold, an angel descended from heaven with 7 tablets in his hands, and he gave them to Jacob, and he read them, and he knew all that was written therein, which would befall him and his sons throughout all the ages. And we showed him, I'll just go ahead and read this here. And we showed him all that was written on the tablets, and said unto him, do not build this place, do not make it an eternal sanctuary, and do not dwell here, for this is not the place. Guys, he read on these tablets given to him by angels what would befall all his sons throughout the ages. So he saw the future sons of Israel come out of the Exodus and build both the traveling tabernacle and the permanent standing temple, but from Solomon. And he wants to build it. Jacob wants to build this at this point. He's excited. And the angel's like, no, this ain't the place. You're not going to build it. Just relax. It's pretty comical in my opinion, but the zeal of Jacob, and how special the father viewed Jacob, that he would actually show him all this future stuff, which is amazing. This is verse 23, for in Egypt they shall die in peace, and in this land you shall be buried with honor in the sepulchres of your fathers with Abraham and Isaac. Fear not, for as you've seen and read it, thus shall it be. And do you write down everything that you've seen and read? And Jacob said, Lord, how can I remember all that I've seen and read? And he said unto him, I will bring all things to your remembrance. And he went up from him, and he woke from his sleep, and he remembered everything which he had read and seen. And he wrote it all down with the words which he had read and seen. He celebrated yet there another day, and he sacrificed thereon according to all that he had sacrificed in the former days, and called its name Addition, for this day was added, and the former days he called the feast. And thus it's manifested that it should be, and it's written on the heavenly tablets, wherefore it's revealed to him that he should celebrate it, and add it to the 7 days of the feast. And, verse 29, its name was called Addition, because that was recorded amongst the days of the feast, according to the number of the days of the year. How interesting is that? Hey, guys, it's pretty fascinating to me that on these special moments, these special days, the father, Jacob didn't even know about the Feast of Addition. And he's having an angelic moment, visitation, where he's getting information from heaven. And he comes to celebrate. He's like, I got to make a memorial of this day, because this day is being kept in heaven as well. That's why it's written on the heavenly tablets. That's why I keep saying that. So this is an amazing moment here, that this is the last day of Sukkot. So be encouraged, guys. Be encouraged. There is a huge, huge beneficial part of your walk with God to see that our forefathers, we're in the faith of Abraham, Galatians 4, Romans 4. We do this because they were faithful. We strive to do this. and be faithful like them. Thankfully, as Yeshua explains in John chapter 8, if we're of the seed of Abraham, we will do the deeds of Abraham. Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, Noah, all these guys, they're keeping the feasts of heaven. That's why they're called the feasts of the Lord. He keeps them in heaven. And these guys are keeping them too. It's truly amazing. Truly, truly amazing. So hopefully that just getting a little back history, back understanding of how many significant things that we see in Genesis that are not explained to us. Only in Jubilees does it tell you the significance of why all these things are happening in Genesis with Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, because they're keeping the commandments. No wonder Genesis 26:5 explains is Isaac being told that Abraham kept the statutes, ordinance, commandments, and Torah of Yahweh. Of course. So if we had Jubilees in our Bibles, if we hadn't let this literal same generation of rabbis that killed Jesus are the ones that decided people shouldn't read Jubilees.